Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to a very special online event today. It's called Explore Your Shamanically Guided Dream Print. Experience your soul's guidance through an African dreamwork approach. My name is Stephen Dinette. I'm the founder and president of the Shift Network, and I'm thrilled to be with you here, getting to explore a really important tradition that often doesn't get as much attention in these kind of Western spiritual seeking circles. And that has to do with an African shamanic lineage called sangoma. We're going to get to explore this with a really remarkable bridge building practitioner initiate in this lineage. His name is John Lockley. He's the founder of the Way of the Leopard teachings. He's got a remarkable backstory. He's taught for Shift before, and we're just really excited to be able to learn some about the African Dreamwork lineage with him. So, John, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thanks, Stephen. It's lovely to be with you again. Thank you.
Beautiful. Well, I want to say we're going to dive in and we're going to have we actually do some experiential work today as well. And there's a chance to go much deeper with John in a brand new course on African shamanic dream work that we'll share more about towards the end of the hour. So more to come. So John, let's begin with your story because I do think it provides important background, context, and really how you became drawn to and then initiated within this tradition and become a teacher for it worldwide.
Thanks, Stephen. Well, my story is quite long, but I'll try and shorten it in a few minutes. I was in the South African military as an army medic, and I was experiencing a lot of suffering from the soldiers and my own life. And then one of my patients died. He was sick for about 6 weeks in intensive care, and I was his main nurse. And it hit me really hard, his death, and it pushed me on a journey of asking the big question of what is this life and why am I alive and what is suffering? And about 2 weeks after his death, I came across Zen Buddhism and I meditated every day. I started to really dive deep into the Zen Buddhist teachings on what is suffering. And then after the 3-day retreat, I had the most remarkable dream of my life. And in that dream, I was having a conversation with what I called then a witch doctor, which is, as we know, an African shaman, a sangoma. And we had this dialogue back and forth, and it was like I'm talking to you. It was like another world, and it was so clear and so strong. And I asked him to train me, and he said to me, in my culture, people get very, very sick. So if I train you, you're going to come close to death. Are you ready for this? And I said to him, I'm already close to death because I've just put my dog down that was very, very sick. I've just witnessed my patient die over 6 weeks, and I'm only 18 years old. So I said, please show me about suffering, show me about nature, because my life is over unless I learn something about why people are so sick and how to help people who are suffering. And he said, okay. And then when I woke up from the dream, I had boils on my body and it was very, very mysterious. I had contracted tick bite fever and I went to the hospital because I was working there every day. And they said, yes, it was tick bite fever. And then I went from one physical illness to the next. And I know it might sound strange to people, but I was quite happy when I realized I had these boils on my body because I knew that the sangoma, the witch doctor man, had actually accepted me to be his apprentice. And then I got all these psychic dreams. I was shown the future. I was shown who to train with. I was shown about going to South Korea and becoming a Zen student in South Korea and possibly a monk. And then I was also shown about returning back to South Africa and exploring the Sangoma tradition once South Africa was a democracy. So I went back to South Africa, I voted for Nelson Mandela, I went back to university to study psychology. And then the second big dream of my life happened, but it didn't happen from me, it happened from my teacher-to-be. I had this experience with my psychology professor who was taking us into the township to explore traditional healing. And then I said to the interpreter, I wanted to have a divination with traditional sangoma. And he said, sure, I'll bring you to a sangoma that my family works with. And I want to take you to a sangoma that helped heal my son So I said, wonderful. And then that night, my teacher to be had this dream where she said the Great Spirit came to her, Utikro, and said that she needed to prepare herself to train someone to become a sangoma like her, to train someone to become a senior sangoma, and and that this person comes from another culture and that she needs to be ready for that. And then the next day, when I came through her gate, she looked at me and she said she knew that I was the one that she had to train. So when we sat down, she spoke about the last 7 years of my life. She spoke about the shamanic illness, the twaza that I received. She spoke about the details of my life. And then she asked me if I'd like to become her apprentice. And I said, what does it mean to become a sangoma? And she said, to become a sangoma means you're going to stop being so sick. And it means the ancestors are going to work through you and you're going to be able to heal people in all different ways. So I said, okay, I accept. And she said, wonderful. Well, tomorrow come back and I'll give you your first white beads, which will be a sign that you are my apprentice. And so that's what I did. So the next day I went back, she gave me my white beads, and then I trained with her for 10 years. And after that, she gave me these beads and these beads as a sign that I'm now, as we say, Liqlichunkulu, which means a senior sangoma who can then baptize and apprentice other people in the tradition. So it was a huge honor. It was a lot of work, a lot of beauty, a lot of magic, and she gave me the name. I think this is important for the listeners. She gave me my Xhosa name, which was Uqingo Windaba. And she had a dream 3 weeks after me joining her family, where her ancestors came to her and said, you must call John Uqingo Windaba, which means the messenger, the one who joins people over long distances, and the bridge builder. So she gave me the name of Uqingo Windaba. And at that stage, I hadn't traveled that much. I traveled to Ireland and I traveled to Korea, but I hadn't traveled that much. And some of the local sangomas came and they said, whoa, yo Ikamankulu. It's a big name. And after then, I traveled the world. And so here we are. Here we are. The dreams are magical. And I'm here to share with people the beauty of their dreams and how to access the stream of consciousness inside of them, the stream of wisdom that can bring great joy, not just for ourselves, but also for our collective humanity.
Mm. Well, it's really clear from that amazing backstory just how significant dreams a role can play to wake up from that first dream and literally have boils and begin a shamanic initiatory process out of the dream. That's remarkable. And so I'd love for you to start to paint a little bit of the context of how the Sangoma tradition sees dream time and working with it as a direct spiritual practice and access point.
Well, the dream time is seen as like another parallel kind of world that's happening right now. And sometimes people can access their dream time through trance and through connecting to the spirit world. But mostly we connect to the dream time when we sleep at night and have dreams. And in that state, we are seen in a place of tabula rasa, you could say in Latin, which is a blank slate. Or we could say in Xhosa or Zulu, a place of tobekile, which means a place of humility, where we are not engaged with our ego. And in our tradition, the Sangoma tradition, dreams are very important. And if we're not dreaming, we have to do a number of rituals and cleanses and prayers to bring the dreams on. Because we say when you dream, you connect to your Ubuntu, you connect to your humanity, and you connect to your ancestors, and you connect to your past, but you also connect to your future. And it's very important, not just for you, but for your community, that you are dreaming. And in those dreams, we talk about white dreams where you connect to Utikro, the great spirit, the great dreamer, and also your ancestors. And when we talk about ancestors in the African tradition, we don't just talk about blood ancestors. It's like a general term for spirit guides, including animal spirits and the spirits of the land. So we'll just say ancestors who speak to us in our dreams. But if we are not dreaming, then we can suffer from what we call an illness. And that illness is the illness of forgetting your humanity. So we say in the tradition, if someone is not dreaming, then they need to go and see a sangoma, because they can put their community in at risk because they are not connected to their humanity. So this is where dreaming is fundamental, and it's very important for all of us.
That's a beautiful overview. And there's this intriguing concept that we're going to put in the foreground today around your signature dream print. And I'd love to share a little bit about what that means and how we understand that.
Yeah, the dream print is something I've come up with, and that is your unique dreaming. So each person has a unique fingerprint, but each person also has a unique dream print, I call. And your dream print is the manifestation of your DNA. And as you get familiar with what kind of dreamer you are, you start to become more familiar with who you are and also where you come from. You get more of a sense of your ancestry. So let me give you an example of that. The landscape of your dreaming, whether you dream about forests or deserts, is often dependent or connected to your blood ancestry. So the more you are aware of what kind of dreamer you are, the more you become mindfully attuned to your dream print, the more you can have a sense of your people and where you come from. So what it really means is becoming more mindful of your dreams. So what kind of landscapes do you dream about in a regular fashion? Are you a sea person, a forest person? Do you dream about urban areas? Do you dream about animals? What is the style of dreaming that you have, which is what I call the dream print? And the way people become aware of that is just through journaling and writing your dreams down, and not just once or twice. But like with me, I've been writing my dreams for over 30 years. So over 30 years, you will start to see a pattern. You'll track a pattern. And even if you just write your dreams down for 3 months or 6 months, you'll start to see a pattern emerging. And that pattern is what I speak about as the dream print, your unique signature in the dream time. And once you access that, then you can start to recognize your spiritual gifts and recognize your journey in the world.
Hmm. Are there certain kind of clusters of dream prints or sort of like archetypes, or is it really just a very individual signature that you're discovering?
Well, there are clusters, and there are collective, you could talk about collective unconscious or collective dreaming that Carl Jung popularized. What I'm speaking about is more of a unique dream print, like a fingerprint. And the way people start to access that is many people will read books, say about Carl Jung, or books on metaphors and symbols, and to try and understand their dreams. And this is all about educating oneself about your unique dream pattern or your dream print. So it's an education. It's an education in the soul. It's an education in the spirit. And often what happens with people is that if they have very mysterious or evocative or disturbing dreams, it's going to lead them on a journey of education where they're looking for meaning with their dreams. And that's all about bringing awareness to their dream print. And the dream print, or the uniqueness of it, can also open the door to your connection with a spiritual lineage that might not be connected to you in blood, but is connected to you spiritually, like me and my sangoma tradition, or could be someone who's connected to a Tibetan tradition or a yogic tradition, but they might not have the ancestral blood, but they have that spiritual connection. And how they know that is because when they start meeting people and researching their experiences, they start to hear people having similar experiences. Like for my sangoma friends, when they share with me what happened to them, there's great similarity with me. So then my unique dream print is matching with some of their dream print, which is showing this connection to the lineage that we are baptized in. And now my dream print in terms of my Irish and English background is going to show up in the landscape of my dreaming. Like, for example, me dreaming about the seas around Ireland and the land of Ireland and the songs of Ireland that come to me in the dreams. That is showing the dream print and helping me to come into who I am as a human being.
Hmm. It was clear when you talked about your original, your sort of deepest, most initiatory dreams that they sort of almost went to another level. What are some of the signals that sort of something becomes a more of like a big dream or an ancestral dream where you're sort of like being initiated in a certain way?
That's a great question, Stephen. Thanks for asking. I think one of the biggest things I could share with people is that feeling of what the Bushmen call ngum. Ngum is that feeling of electricity. So when I had that first powerful dream of the witch doctor, I called him, but he was this master sangoma. That first dream, I just felt my whole body shaking and tingling with like electricity. And when I woke up, my body was shaking. And then I also saw that I had these boils on my legs. So all I could say to folks is listen to your body. Your body is grounding you in the present moment. It's grounding you in the here and now. And it's teaching you. It's like a conductor of energy. So if you've had a powerful dream, it could be a nightmare, and you don't understand it at all, but your whole body is quivering. Pay attention. Write the dream down, even if you don't understand it, because there's something very profound that is calling you from the dream time, from the spirit world.
Are there aspects of the practice of African dreaming that are similar to some of what we do with lucid dreaming, where you're trying to make conscious decisions or sort of engage from a level of not passive, but like actively co-creating a dream as well?
I have to say no, actually, Stephen. And what I would say that this practice is the practice we say of umoya or tobekile. So umoya means soul or spirit, and tobekile means humility. So what it is we'll play our drums and we'll dance and we'll enter the trance state, and we work with prayers in terms of devotional prayers where we sing the names of our ancestors and the spiritual lineage we connected to, and we ask them to please open the road. We say uvulen lela, and then we completely let go and we wait to watch what comes to us from the dream time in terms of what direction we should go and how we should live, what calling we should follow. So this body of dreaming is not better or worse than the lucid dreaming of the Tibetans or other schools. It's just a different school of dreaming, and I would call it the school of prophetic dreaming. So prophetic dreaming, or in the words of the Xhosa or Zulu languages, it would be umoya, the spirit dreams. So the spirit dreams are dreams that we want to be as humble as possible, and we also want to surrender ourselves to the spirit of the dream. And the preparation for those dreams is the invocations of drumming, singing, working with plant medicine, understanding how you're dreaming, and then how to devote your waking state to some devotional practice, whether it's prayers, whether it's meditation, whether it's yoga, to ask and beseech the ancient ones, whether they're ancestors or gurus, to beseech them to open the road for you so you
Hmm.
can go to another level of dreaming and consciousness.
Hmm.
And then,
There's,
yeah, sorry, my last point, Stephen, is that whatever dreams we receive, it's not up to us. So what's up to us is the practice of devotion, and then we have to let go. And if we are ready, if our karma is ready, then we are blessed and gifted with a dream, and then our consciousness opens to another level.
hmm. So let's go back to a little bit of like understanding what emerges. So there's a sincere intention and a practice of cultivating this relationship. And so then how do you understand the different, so where I think we're more used to kind of the Jungian interpretation and kind of Freudian interpretations from a Sangoma tradition. How do you understand some of what happens, where the where, the what that happens in dreams?
I think sometimes it's a riddle and it's a mystery, but I think most people get a sense of what their dreams mean. And how we do that is first you write down the dream. So you need to download the dream. So whatever the dream is, write it out and then draw it, diagram it, and then feel your body. And then if there is someone that you can share your dream with, then it's also good to speak the dream out. And I do feel from listening to hundreds of people with their dreams, I do feel that most people have an inkling or intuition as to what their dreams are saying. However, where it gets confusing is sometimes those egoic or psychological dreams can be misinterpreted for spirit dreams, and sometimes spirit dreams can be misinterpreted as egoic or psychological dreams. And this is where we need to be careful. And that's why I'm teaching this course, is because if someone has a spiritual calling and they have a lot of sickness that comes with that, you can't really deal with that in a psychological way. You have to answer the call and go a bit deeper. So it's important to share those signs. And part of those signs would be listening to the body, listening to the electricity of what's coming for you, listening to the repetition of the dream and how the spirits are calling or knocking on your door, and so on, you know.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, I think now would be a great time to give people a bit of a demonstration and take them into how you would approach this as a practice.
So today I'd like to play my drum, Stephen, my sangoma drum, which is called an isigubo. So I'll just show it to everyone. And this drum actually came to me in a dream where a lady came to me and said, I'm a sangoma and I need a drum. And then she told me in the dream where to find the drum. And I went to a shop in Johannesburg and I found the drum. It's a long story, but I found the drum and I started playing it in the shop. And as I did, people came in from outside and they were so shocked to see this white guy playing this drum, and the whole shop was packed. It was incredible. So it has an incredible magic to it because it's come from the dream time. And I'm going to play it for you. And as I'm playing it for you, I want you to enter your own dream time, and I want you to pay attention to the way you're dreaming. So I want you to pay attention to any dream that you've had in the past. Just bring it forth. It might be a dream that's confusing, it might be a nightmare, whatever it is, just bring it to mind when I'm playing the drum and become aware of the landscape, you know, the color of the dream, the sense of the dream, smells, any of your senses that are being engaged. Become aware of your feelings, and just let the sound of the drum awaken your senses with paying attention to the landscape of the dreaming. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, abazali bammo bammo, yabazali bammo bammo, yeah, abazali bammo bammo. Volen le la mnyange, volen le la mnyange, volen le la mnyange, volen le la mnyange. Tamagwini amnyange, tamagwini amnyange, tamagwini amnyange, tamagwini amnyange. Volen le la bazalibam, volen le la bazalibam, volen le la bazalibam, volen le la bazalibam. Tamagwini amnyange, tamagwini amnyange, tamagwini amnyange, tamagwini amnyange. Oh, sondela mama wam, sondela mama, sondela mama. Tamagwinyo yange, tamagwinyo yange, tamagwinyo yange, tamagwinyo yange. Woza, woza, woza mama, woza, woza, woza mama. Tamagwinyo yange, tamagwinyo yange, tamagwinyo yange, tamagwinyo yange. Volen le la bazalibam, volen le la bazalibam, volen le la bazalibam, volen le la bazalibam. Breathe, breathe. So feeling that inner landscape inside of you with grace and dignity, welcome in your people, your blood people, your ancestors. Welcome in any spirit guides or spiritual ancestry. Ask for your path to be revealed with grace and dignity. Give thanks for this life that you are living, thanking your mother's lineage and your father's lineage, thanking any adopted lineages or spiritual lineages, and listen. Listen to your beating heart and allow that beating heart to penetrate your dreams with the question of, what am I? Why am I alive? And honoring your blood people and your adopted and spiritual people. And we say, "Uvulunlela bantu abadala, uvulunlela bazali bam," which means open the road, great ones. Open the road, my ancestors. Open the road. Help me to see clearly, feel clearly, and speak clearly in this world and the next. Help me to connect to my Ubuntu, to my humanity, so that I can be a custodian of this earth, so that I can help the plants and the animals. Help me to connect to my humanity. We say, "Uvulunlela," open the road. And we sing and we play our drum. So feeling your heartbeat wherever you are, feeling the authentic truth of who you are. So honoring your feelings, whether you're feeling happy or sad, honor your feelings where you are right now, and just contain your energy and just feel how your heart is, how your body is. And listen to that electricity around you and inside you. That is your own unique electricity, which is connected to the lightning and nature, as the Bushmen call it, the ngum. So you listen to that space around you and inside you, that's energized through your heartbeat and the spirit of the drum. And we're beseeching, invoking that energy to open the road to the dream time. So I hope this is helpful for you. And thank you.
Beautiful. Something so powerful about your drumming that just kind of evokes the whole field and the whole culture, just drawing in. Love it. You emphasize several times ancestors, thanking our mother ancestors and father lineage. And I'd love if you speak a little bit about why the work of ancestors and lineage is so important within Sangoma.
I think it's because as children of nature, we need to connect with our roots in order for us to come into ourselves. So if you look at a tree, for a tree to grow tall and strong, it needs to connect to its roots. If it doesn't, a wind will come and it'll get blown over. It's not going to survive. So a strong tree connects to its roots all the way down. And that's a very good analogy for us as human beings. In order for us to come into who we are as people, we need to remember where we come from, and we need to honor our roots. So that's the essence of it in the Sangoma tradition. And another part of it is I speak about Ubuntu, which means humanity in Nguni or Zulu and Xhosa languages in South Africa. And we say that in order for you to connect with your humanity, you need to give thanks for your humanity. And part of that means honoring your bloodlines. As you honor your mother's lineage and your father's lineage, then you increase a sense of devotional energy inside of you rather than that consumer energy of give me, give me, give me. You rather have this energy of appreciation, which feeds that energy of devotion, which then feeds that energy of the dreams. So the dreams are energized with devotion and of a spirit of service. And we come into that spirit of service and devotion when we appreciate the suffering and trauma and everything that's happened with our bloodlines going back, not just 1 or 2 generations, but go back 1,000 years, go back 2,000 years. So what I'm teaching is actually more of an indigenous approach that goes beyond the causality of time. It goes into a space where we go beyond time. And one of the ways we do that is we connect with our bones and don't just think of ancestors as a couple of generations of people that you might know or you might not know or you might feel embarrassed about. When we think about ancestors in the traditional sangoma way, we think of 2,000 years, 3,000 years, 5,000 years. And when you are calling on those ancestors, it's like a tree pulling up sap from its roots.
Mm,
You're honoring all of them and you're welcoming them all in. And over time, remarkable things happen to you physically and emotionally and spiritually. But you receive a lot of strength, just like a tree when it's putting through its roots, it receives strength. So this is a very powerful teaching, and it has really stood the test of time in Southern Africa.
mm.
And it survived colonization, it survived Christianity, it survived a lot of trials and tribulations.
Mm. That's amazing when you think about going, 100 generations back or more, it sounds like, and that the millions of ancestors that we have and the amount of power and wisdom and life experience that can be drawn from. That's pretty remarkable. Because you're right, I always think of ancestry more in kind of recent terms where there's a palpable sense of, someone who knew someone rather than going back that far.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can share a little bit about how that kind of going to that depth of ancestral connection might infuse and guide something in the present time, how you could invoke that, maybe a story of how that happened in your own life in some way.
Well, it can help, especially when it comes to war, for example. It's quite common in Africa when there's war for someone to receive a calling in the other tradition over the fence to become a sangoma or a medicine person. And when that happens, the person learns the culture and ways of that other, the side that the people have been at war with. And so I suppose this has been my tradition in terms of my experience in terms of in South Africa, where there was apartheid and there was this terrible situation of separation between white and black people. And then I was called to become a sangoma in an African tradition that is not of my blood. And as I went over and learned the language and the ways of the people, I could feel the love. And then I was able to bring these teachings back to my blood
Mm.
people and they bring healing. So how does this work with ancestry? Well, when we're going deeper with ancestry, we get to see how all cultures are very similar. So for example, I'm sharing the story with you now, but my mother's from Ireland and she's from this ancient Celtic tradition. And when she came into the ceremonies and she met my Sangoma teacher, she said, this is very, very similar to the old mass that we used to have around the hedges going back hundreds of years in Ireland. And she used to share some of her dreams. My mom's dreams would be very similar to some of my teacher's dreams, the Sangoma dreams. So the more you unpack the culture in terms of shamanism, you get to see how our old ancestors were very, very similar. So the old Celts practiced in a way that was very, very similar to the sangomas in the African traditions. And the reason is because these old traditions have similar ways of connecting to spirit and these ancestral ways. So the more we go deeper with our ancestry, the more we experience our dreams and then talk to other cultures and other people, we get to see that we all have red blood. And that red blood means you can heal someone who you don't know anything about in the other end of the world if they have the same blood type as you. But it also means you can heal them spiritually because the root base of all humanity is very, very similar. We like one family. And when you go deep in time, like with shamanism, like I say, going back 2,000 years, you find the Celts and you find the ancient peoples of Scandinavia working in very, very similar ways to like the Siberians or the African peoples. And this gives a lot of food for thought, but it also gives a lot of comfort that we can heal one another. And there's something very magical at the root and core of being human.
Hmm. I love that. And it really speaks to a lot of layers of how the shamanic work can really lead us to become peace builders and bridge builders between cultures. And I'm kind of drawn to ask, I know you, I'd love to share a little bit about the beads that you're wearing and some of the symbolism there in terms of your own role.
Yes, thank you, Stephen. So these beads were made by my teacher, Mamgwevu, who's a senior Xhosa sangoma in the Xhosa tribe, which is the same tribe as Nelson Mandela and Desmond Tutu. And so she made these beads around my neck, which go all the way down, very beautiful. And she made this for me after I finished my final initiation, where I became we say, Liqliqenkulu, a senior sangoma with the permission from the elders to train and apprentice others. And she also made these beads for me. And it was quite incredible because I actually had a dream about the design of certain beads that were going to be made for me for my final ceremony. And then when I came for my ceremony, they'd made the beads for me. It was just like what I dreamt, just like what I dreamt. And so there was this incredible synchronicity of spirit where I dreamt the beads, but I didn't say a word to my teacher, and she gave them just as I saw them, which is very magical. There's lots of stories and experiences like that. But I'm sharing a little bit of this now because we say in the Sangoma tradition, when you wear your beads, you are wearing your connection to the dream time. You're wearing your connection to your ancestors, and that brings a lot of spiritual power and beauty and magic. And as we wear these beads, we are wearing that connection to our ancestors and the lineage. And as we wear them, we're able to also help others connect to their own dream time. And that
Hmm.
is why I'm wearing this today.
Mm, I love that. And it kind of speaks to also this how there's a different way of while you're in your daily life invoking this connection. And I wonder if you can speak more about the sort of the cultivation of a more active dream life. So sort of in your waking life, because a lot of us, I myself included, can get very distracted by what's going on in our day-to-day life and not necessarily spend as much time of attuning or activating or cultivating these sort of deeper dreams and messages. So share a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you, Stephen. Yes. So when you wake up in the morning, it's very important for people, especially busy people. It's very important that you don't turn on your iPhone and start looking at your messages. So when you're in bed, it's important to spend maybe another 5 or 10 minutes in bed. Maybe the alarm has just gone on, and just take a few moments to see what do you remember from the dreams. Is there anything that you can remember? And because this is what I do, I'll have certain images. Maybe there, like last night, I had a few strong dreams, and there were just a couple of very strong images for me. So before I got out of bed, I just tried to sink into those images and just focus on them, just one image. And then I would try and expand those images so I could see other things. So first it was like this one object I saw in the dream last night. And then I was trying to expand on that object just by seeing the rest of the room. And the more we do that, the more we can expand our memory and our consciousness of the dream time. And all it is a muscle. It's a muscle inside of you, and you just need to breathe and you just need to pay attention. And then when you come out of bed, write down those images. Just a few lines is enough. I dreamt about this, 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 this. You can even draw a picture. Just have a pencil. Some people are very good at drawing. You could have a pencil and just jot down a few things, because jotting down a few things, and you could even in terms of jotting down, you could even put it into your smartphone. Just make a note section and just write down a few lines from the dreams. And as you do that, you're going to start to remember more and more of your dreams. And then when you go to sleep at night, try to develop or try to create or cultivate some kind of spiritual practice of devotion. Devotional practice is very important. So whether you have a Buddhist practice and you welcome in the Buddha, welcome in your ancestors, and welcome in your spirit guides, and then just listen to your heartbeat, listen to your breath, And the practice that you do, it doesn't matter what it is as such. It could be Buddhist, it could be Christian, it could be Hebrew, I mean, it could be Jewish. It doesn't matter the container of the practice. The most important is that you feel your heartbeat, you feel your electricity, and you feel that devotional energy where you are making contact with the divine, and then you are listening. So it's very important to have that combination of practicing where you're speaking and then where you're also listening. So the dream time is an experience of deep listening.
Mm. And then after you've had the dream, like, I wonder if you can speak a little bit to the revelation of different layers of meaning over time.
Yes, I mean, I'm going to speak about more in the course, Stephen, but all I could say to give people a little bit of a nugget to the course, and one of the modules I speak about understanding the different landscapes or levels of your dreaming, but I could just introduce a little bit here. So when you dream, become aware of the three levels of dreaming, which I talk about as the mundane, the emotional or psychological, number two, and the three is the prophetic or mystical, and that is the white dreams. And that's what I focus on a lot. But in terms of the mundane dreams would be dreams there where you dreaming about going shopping, for example, or you're dealing with a day-to-day event that you do when you're awake, and you have a dream about that, but there's no electricity, there's no aha. So that's the level of the mundane. And then the second level is where you dream about emotions or psychological issues that you've had in the past or old relationships that have evoked a lot of upset and emotions. These are the levels of the emotional, psychological, and sometimes they could be repetitive dreams that go in circles over time. And they have a lot of dialogue, a lot of talking, a lot of emotion. And then, of course, you have the third level, which is the mystical, which might not be a lot of words, but it might be a feeling, or it might be an image, or it might be a few words, and then you woke up feeling scared, exhilarated, excited. You wake up feeling like you've touched God, or you've touched something profound. So that's a white dream. So when I talk about the landscapes of the dream, or knowing your dream print, it's important to be aware of how you're dreaming. Do you dream the mundane, where there's not too much meaning? Do you dream with a lot of emotion, a lot of psychological content, a lot of words? Do you dream where you see these like mystical or magical things that you don't understand, but it's left you feeling with this aha moment? Just have a sense of those three categories of dreams, which can all happen in one dream. In one dream, we could have the mundane, the emotional, and the mystical all in one dream. And then the job as a dreamer, which we are all dreamers. So our job is to unpack and understand that one drop of mysticism or spirituality that is coming into that dream time experience amidst the noise of those emotions, the noise of maybe problems or psychology or even the mundane of the dream. There's that one drop of spirit that comes in, and our job as a dreamer is to feel that, to track that. And that's where my work comes in, to help people.
Hmm. Well, I think this is a great moment to talk more about explicitly about how people can go deeper into your work, since you clearly are an amazing bridge builder and lineage transmitter from the sangoma, and this is such a powerful tradition for us to access. So let's talk a little bit about your upcoming course. So it's called African Shamanic Dreamwork: Ancient Techniques and Powerful Rituals of the Xhosa and Swazi Traditions for Renewing Your Soul and Fulfilling Your Life's Purpose. You can find it at the URL africanshamanic.dreamwork.com, africanshamanic.dreamwork.com. It's a 7-week program, and there's no prerequisites. You don't need to have a background in this. It's just there's a sense of a nudge or an interest or a calling from your soul to go deeper. So, John, I would love for you to share first your larger intentions for the course. What do people get out of it? And then we'll go through the modules, give a little preview of what's coming.
Thanks, Stephen. Sure. So my intention behind this course is to help people connect with magic, to help people connect with their own magic, but what that means is to help people connect to their immortality, to their soul, to their spirit, to connect to that part of them that doesn't die. And when people connect to that, then we're going to be saving this world, because once you connect to that magic inside of you, you're going to be less of a consumer and you're going to be more of a humanitarian, and you're going to become more compassionate and more empathic. And that is going to stretch not just through the human world, but also into the animal and plant worlds. And everyone has a gift. Every human being has a gift. And the way we unpack that gift is through listening to our dreams. So on that note, my intention behind the course is to, like I say, help people connect to their own magic and their own immortality, which is through the experience of their soul or their spirit in their dreams.
Hmm.
And the way we do that through the course is basically, in the beginning, showing people how the dream time operates in terms of these different levels of dreaming, and then giving people more of an indigenous worldview on dreams and how to let go the time stamp of the modern world. So how to help people drop out of time, how to help people enter the portal of the dream time in an indigenous way. So I've gone through this journey, and part of my work is showing people how they can do that as well. And that means learning how to play. It means learning how to let go of time. It means learning how to devote yourself to serving the world, cultivating a devotional practice, cultivating a prayer practice, cultivating a dream practice in terms of journaling and writing your dreams down. And then in the beginning of the course is situating the dream world and how to dream and experience your dreams and get some understanding of your dreams. And then I'm going to be working with plant medicine, which is non-hallucinogenic, to teach people how to cleanse their bodies and prepare them for the dream time. And then in the middle of the course, I'm going to do a powerful ceremony, a dream ceremony, a sangoma ceremony, to invoke and wake up the dreaming for people. And then after that, it's going to be about what messages come from the dream time. You know, what are you seeing from the dream time? What are these images that are coming to you from your ancestors, whether it's animals, plants, blood ancestors, spirit allies? What is coming from your invocation to the dream time? And then as we are finishing the course, it's going to be about how can you use this energy that you have cultivated in terms of your dreaming. How can you use it to manifest it, to bring it into the physical world around you to help this world?
Hmm. Well, that's a great overview of the course, and I'd love to get a little bit more detail on each module. So module 1 is called Discover Your Unique Dream Print to Activate Your Ancestral Channel of Communication.
Yes, so we've been touching quite a bit on that today, and in that module, I'm going to be going into detail about the three different levels of dreaming, which is the mundane, the emotional, psychological, and then also the mystical and the white dreams. So how do you dream like that, and what is the look of certain dreams like that? And in terms of your dream print, becoming aware of the landscape of your dreaming. So do you dream about the forest or the sea or the mountains? You know, what is the landscape that makes you feel comfortable, that gives you this aha moment where you can let go and connect to those deeper spaces inside of you? Because that can also give some indication of your ancestry and where you come from, which is very helpful and powerful, because then it can also give you some tools to strengthen your spirit in that way, to cultivate more of your ancestral reconnection.
Module 2, Energize Your Inner Dreamer Through the Spirit of Play.
Yes, now that is very, very important. The spirit of play is found in every indigenous culture, and I've been working a lot with the San Bushmen in the Kalahari, running retreats there every year. And one of the things that we noticed is that they do these playful activities in the bush. because the spirit of play is so important because it helps to open up the intuition, and it also helps to let go any kind of expectation. So in the modern world, it's very transactional. You go to the shop, you pay a certain amount of money, and then you receive something back. You know, you order something on Amazon, you receive something back. If you don't like it, you send it back. So that is this consumer-oriented world we're living in. But the spirit world, the dream time, does not operate like that. It operates in this process of giving without expectation. So these beautiful sand bushmen taught us how to play in the midst of 40 degrees heat in the Kalahari Desert, and that is just to let go any kind of expectation and to open the heart. So play is very, very important because it's one of the ways we can let go this causal trajectory of time, and we can also open our hearts. And when our hearts are opened and we're laughing spontaneously, that's when the dreams come.
Mhm. Module 3, harness non-psychoactive plant medicine for cleansing, clearing, and protection.
Yes, it's very important for dreamers to protect their physical bodies when they're going into the dream time, when they're sleeping at night. And it's also important to help calm the nervous system. So as we work with plant medicine, we calm our nervous systems, and we start to change our aura to the aura of green, which is the aura of nature. And then we enter the indigenous world of dreaming. And I'm going to be, for the listeners now, I'm going to be working with common household plants, teaching you how to work with mugwort, rosemary, lavender, rose petals, cedar, pine, all the common plants, dandelion. Dandelion is very powerful. We had some incredible dreams in one workshop and ceremony I did where someone worked with, had this dream about a dandelion plant. And then I turned the whole workshop into cultivating and harvesting dandelion. And it's very powerful. So I'm going to be showing people how to work with plants in your local area to help you connect to the dreams and the dream time.
Module 4, activate your inner dreamer to communicate directly with your soul.
Yes, now that's going to be where I'm going to be playing my sangoma drum and creating a ceremony for people, and also inviting everyone to step into that ceremony. So I'm going to be giving the participants some tools to create a sacred altar and a sacred space for themselves to step into this ceremony that we're going to do together in Module 4.
Module 5, learn the art of dream tracking to unlock deeper levels of dream interpretation.
Yes, now the dream tracking is where we look at the symbols of the dreams, look at what's coming up from the dreams, and then how to manifest those dreams and how to bring them into the waking state. And then again, how to look at certain dreams that you've had in the past, and then look at your waking state, like what is happening in your life. And I'm going to be using stories from my time in the Kalahari Desert, in the Okavango, where I've had dreams in the past leading me into the Kalahari. And then as I went into the Kalahari Desert and worked with wild animals like leopard and tracked the leopard into the bushveld, how the dreams that I've had matched those experiences. So that's dream tracking. So I'm going to be using these stories, but also showing people how they can do this for themselves.
Module 6, decipher prophetic calling dreams to reconnect with your life's purpose.
I love this section because this section speaks about prophetic dreams, but it also speaks about nightmares. And sometimes they can look the same. How do you distinguish a prophetic dream from a nightmare? And maybe a nightmare is actually a calling. Sometimes people have nightmares in the Sangom tradition, and it is a calling where they're being called to wake up and connect to their ancestors and an ancestral calling. How can we distinguish the two? So I'm going to be speaking about that, how we can wake up to our calling in our dreams and notice how our dreams are calling us from the dream time or the spirit world, and then how can we address that in the waking state.
And finally, Module 7, activate your seventh sense to manifest change in your world. That's intriguing.
Yes, this is an incredible one because the seventh sense is our sense of manifestation. None of the other animals in the animal kingdom have this. This is our unique gift as human beings because we as human beings have the capacity to dream about something and then wake up from the dreams and use our hands and our feet and our consciousness to bring about change in the physical waking state. And it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're a prince or a pauper, you can bring about great change to other beings' lives based on your dreams and what you see. So, for example, someone can wake up from a dream where they dream about an animal that is suffering, and they can wake up from the dream and they can make some food for that animal, pour some water for those birds that are suffering, and then it can change the trajectory of some birds or animals that might be going extinct based on the dreams that you have at night.
Hmm.
So that's how we can use the seventh sense of manifestation to bring about change in the world around us.
What an amazing program. And I just know people are going to be so blessed if they choose to take this journey with you. So I'll share a little bit more about it. So it's going to be a 7-week program, the 90-minute live sessions each week. You can ask your questions, do interactive practices together. You also get recordings of every session, so you can go back and keep doing the practices and keep absorbing more of the teachings. You get video and audio recordings. You also have word-for-word transcripts, weekly practices you can do at home. There's a Facebook community to support and deepen your experience with other participants, as well as small group time at the end of each module to connect more deeply. And on the page, you'll see there are a number of extra bonuses to enhance your journey. There's a video dialogue with John and Dr. Ariel Schwartz, a beloved Shift faculty member. It's called Ancestral Healing, Dreaming, and Trauma. You want to share a little bit about that bonus?
Yes, we had a wonderful chat together where we spoke about ancestral trauma and how they can get passed down the family lines and how we can heal that through just paying respect and love to our ancestors without going into the sometimes judgment that can happen with our ancestors. So when we're going into ancestral healing, we are sometimes looking at our ancestors as 6-month-old children with the shining light of God in their eyes. And when we're looking at our ancestors like that, then we can start to spread some devotion and some healing energy in the family line. And so that's the first thing, is to start to look at our ancestors in more of a compassionate way. And this is the discussion that the two of us had. And she had some wonderful things to say around that as well. So it's a good conversation.
Mm. That sounds amazing. And then there's also a dialogue between you and Dr. Maria Mubuni, who's a wonderful teacher from Cameroon that we have, called Befriending the Wilderness to Heal Our World. And then there's one special bonus that folks get when you sign up right away. And we like to do this as a way to encourage you to really tune in now while you're most connected to what John has been sharing and teaching, and really get the clear sense about moving forward. And if you do choose to move forward today, you're going to get a video teaching from John called Herbal Remedies for Sleep and Dreaming. Want to share more about that special bonus folks get today?
That is about cleansing ritual and protection ritual for dreams. And I go through that in a video where I show people how to do that, how to create your own dream cleanse and protecting ritual, working with medicinal plants from your local area. And what I'm working with in that video is actually, I'm working with nettle and I'm working with lavender.
Well, it's a great extra reason to sign up today. So this is clearly going to be such a eye-opening and soul-opening program. And we've kept the investment very accessible. It's just 3 payments of $128, or save 10% when you pay in full with one payment of $349. This course is going to start on June 26th and run Wednesdays at 9 Pacific, noon Eastern. But even if you can't make the live times, you can still get the full value with the recordings, the transcripts, and the community as well. And I also encourage you to read through the testimonials at africanshamanic.dreamwork.com. There's some great testimonials from both from John's teaching work more globally, as well as through Shift. Really just such a beautiful blessing that he offers to people, deeply transformative, a very authentic wisdom transmission, and really supports you in the blossoming of your path. So you'll see all that through the testimonial quotes, and you'll get more details on all the modules and all the bonuses at africanshamanic.dreamwork.com. So, John, we're at the end of our time together. It's been a blessing to be with you. I really love learning from you. So, anything that's still on your heart you want to share with folks who are considering diving into African shamanic dream work with you?
Yes, I'm excited to teach people the art of magic, the art of how you can connect to your own magic. And it's very easy. And all you have to do is breathe in, breathe out, feel your heartbeat, and be gentle with yourself. Don't
Mhm.
judge yourself. So sometimes the inner critic can be very strong for folks. And the indigenous way, which we all share as human beings, is the way of the heart. So just be gentle with yourself on the way of dreaming and on the way of connecting to that magic inside of you, which we all have. And I'm so excited to share this with you.
Beautiful. Well, your heart shines through, John, and thank you for saying yes to your calling and willing to go through all those initiations to bring this wisdom to us. So thank you so much for sharing today, and thank you for your upcoming program, African Shamanic Dreamwork. And if you all who are watching would like to go further with John, you can do so at africanshamanic.dreamwork.com, and you'll get that special bonus when you sign up by midnight, which is the herbal remedies for sleep and dreaming. So
Thank you.
thank you so much. Many
Thanks
blessings.
so much. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you.